chair. Oh, oh. Can you hear the cicadas in the background? Because I swear to God, as soon as the sun goes down, I mean, it's showtime, you know? Welcome. What episode is this? Number 2, number 3, number 4? What glass of wine is this? I think this is number 3. But welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Amanda, and I like to craft, I like to sew, I like to garden, and I like to chat. And today, I'm going to make a skirt, but I'm also going to chat with you about the tea that's been going on with my neighbors, because I'm officially, I guess, at war with my neighbors, and that's not my fault. So let's talk about the skirt first, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So I wanted to make the skirt because I wanted something easy, like something that I could just throw on some of my favorite music and just something like a no-brainer, you know? I saw this picture on Pinterest, of course. Pinterest literally, I swear to God, it runs my life. But I saw this picture of this person. It was an artist. I think the picture was to show off the art, which the art was beautiful. I'm not saying that it wasn't. However, I was infatuated by the artist's outfit. I was obsessed. I was like, I have to have this outfit. It's so cute. It was this like white tank top, and then it was this midi skirt that looked like it was quilted. I went on the hunt for this skirt. I was like, I have to have this skirt. It's so freaking cute. I could not find it. And so then I went on the hunt. Like, I was actually going to make a skirt out of like a real quilt. And I could not find a quilt that was close enough that I was happy with. So then, of course, I went to Spoonflower. I feel like Spoonflower just has everything. I mean, the thing about Spoonflower is it is very expensive, you know. But I like that they print just as much as you order on the fabric, so they're not making bolts and bolts and bolts of fabric and then just basically hoping that somebody buys it, and then they have like dead stock fabric. So I looked up on Spoonflower and I found this fabric that to me looks the absolute closest. It's this beautiful like faux quilt patchwork with flowers. It's green and pink, and it's just chef's kiss. It looks so good. And I was like, you know what? This is, I think, as close as I'm going to get it. So I ordered a couple yards of it. The thing about the skirt, though, is that obviously you should cut any kind of silky skirt on the bias. The fabric, like the way that the print was, I didn't like it on the bias. Like whenever I tried to put it on the bias, it looked like the squares were just going straight down the skirt, and I wanted the squares to look kind of like diamonds, like they were like diagonal down the front of the skirt. So I unfortunately did not cut it on the bias, which I know is a mistake. However, I wanted the skirt to look exactly like the inspo, and that's what happened. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. It is time to tell you about what happened with my neighbors, okay? I don't know if you know, I like to garden. I feel like I said that in my first video, but I really do like to do it. I'm actually growing sunflowers on the side of my house, and they are so big. One of them is literally as tall as our house right now, which is so cool. So anyways, due to that, I set up a compost bin in my backyard. Now, I do have a worm bin. Like, I have red wiggler worms in my house. Like, I have a little bin in the very, very back corner of the kitchen. Like, there's like a little breakfast nook that, I mean, we want a table there. We just haven't gotten one yet because everything's so expensive. The red wiggler worms don't like everything. Like, they don't like peppers. They do not like citrus. They don't like cruciferous vegetable. You know, they don't like broccoli or like Brussels sprouts or those types of things, which I love all of those things. So I did find that even though I have the worm composting, like the vermicomposting going, I needed a separate compost, like an outdoor compost bin, to be able to get rid of the other types of food scraps that I have. So I went on, actually surprisingly, Wayfair had the cheapest cedar outdoor compost bin. I ordered that from Wayfair, and then I set it up in my backyard. Surprisingly, the day that I set it up was a beautiful day. It was overcast. Okay, look, I know this is editing me. Hello. I'm sorry that this video is kind of all over the place. That's life, you know, everything just happens all at once, it seems like. And I was making the skirt, and then also this whole thing went down with my neighbors, and so it just all happened at once. And so I was trying to explain it all at once, and I feel like it just came out kind of jumbled. I mean, I'm sure the wine didn't help, but just try to tag along and see if you can't keep up while I'm making the skirt. And I'm also talking about something else entirely. Maybe if you have ADHD, you'll get it. I get it. Yeah, anyways, back to the crazy. There is a neighbor that lives 2 doors down on the corner from me. There has been these huge branches that are down in their front yard that have stayed there with dead leaves all over it from over a month ago. I mean, they've been there for a long time. There was a lot of storms in May, and I think some of the branches from their front tree fell during that time, and they've stayed there ever since. But I was like, you know what? I just built this compost bin. Let me just be a good neighbor and go over there and see if I can clean up the brush in their front yard for them. I could put it in my compost and it'd be a win-win. Like, I know this is an older man who lives there, and he probably, you know, hasn't cleaned it up for health reasons, or like, I don't know what the reason is, but they haven't done it yet. And I just built this compost bin. I'm able-bodied. I could clean up the brush for them and put it in my compost bin, and everybody wins. Their front yard is cleaned up, and I get a ton of dead leaves and branches and stuff for my compost bin. I thought it would be perfect. I was like, this is perfect. So, and I went and knocked on the door, and immediately 2 large dogs started barking. And I know they were large dogs because they had this deep bark. It scared me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it startled me. I did not know that they had large dogs. But anyways, I stood a ways back. I was not standing right in front of the door, okay, because we live in the South and you never know. But this older woman answered the door, and she barely opened the door, like enough just for like an eye or two, you know, to be seen, which I respect. They were not expecting somebody to knock on the door. They don't know who I am. You know, I respect that. I mean, that's fine. But she barely opened the door, and she was like, hello. And I was like, hi, my name is Amanda. I'm one of your neighbors. I live 2 doors down. And I said, are you like saving your branches like in your front yard for anything? And then I kind of turned and like pointed to them. And I turned back around and I said, I just made a compost bin in my backyard. I live really close to you. I would love to clean up the brush that you have in your front yard, and then I'll put them in my compost. Immediately, she says, no, that's fine. We're doing it tomorrow, and slams the door in my face. And then guess who doesn't clean up the brush for 2 weeks? Like, let's talk through this. Okay, let's talk through this. Who says no to free yard work? Like, it just is beyond me. Maybe they thought I wanted money, which I never asked for money. The fact that she said, no thanks, we're doing it tomorrow, and then didn't clean up the brush for 2 weeks, like, why are you lying? Like, what is the motive to lie? Like, I don't know. I just find that the most offensive thing of all. I was just shook. I was shook. I 100% could have called the city and been like, yeah, there's like brush in my neighbor's front yard and they haven't cleaned it up. Like, it had been at least 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks that I had been in their front yard before I went and knocked on the door and asked if I could clean it up. It's not like it was like the day after. I just was trying to be a good neighbor, you know? Like, I grew up in a time where you lend an egg or a cup of sugar to your neighbor if they ask for it. Like, you know, it's a friendly thing. I mean, I just feel like time and time again, I've just been proven wrong, you know? Like, that's just not the state that people are in anymore. You can only try so hard, you know? I feel like those are the same people who bitch and moan about our generation and are like, they're so entitled and this and that or whatever. But when I come knocking on your door to help you, you slam the door in my face. Like, choose one. You can't have both. Also, I tried to clean out our shed. So there is a shed in the corner of the backyard. Literally, swear to God, I have never opened it. It's just been there. It's just kind of been like a black hole, and like a little, I don't know. I was scared to open it, and for good reason. I knew there was some leaves in the shed because the door was cracked just a little bit, and I could see some leaves through the crack. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just, instead of cleaning the neighbor's yard, I will just clean out the shed, and then boom, two birds, one stone, clean out the shed, and I'll have some nice dead leaves to put into the compost bin. So I open up one door, and then the other door is like stuck on soil. Like it clearly hasn't been opened in a long time. So I'm pulling on it to try to open it. And I look inside, and I see this black and gray fluffy tail. Like immediately I start screaming and I run away. I run across the whole entire backyard, and I wait. And I just wait for it to come out. And nothing comes out. I wait and wait, and nothing comes out. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. So then I walk back over there. I peer into the shed. And lo and behold, I see this gorgeous fluffy animal laying in the floor of the shed. I couldn't quite tell if it was a raccoon or a cat in the moment, because I think, one, I had adrenaline and it scared me. Number two, I was thinking about my neighbors who hate me. But I knew it was deceased because, it was still. However, there was no flies or anything around it, which was so shocking because I swear to you, I've never opened the shed. And then the one time I do, I find a dead animal in it. I didn't know what to do. And I'm dating a man, and I feel like this is when you pull the straight card. You're like, I'm dating a man. He is going to need to see it and do something about it. Like, he's going to have to fix it. I don't know what to do about this. But then my friend comes into town. So she comes into town, and then we all open up the shed doors wide. It's a feral adult raccoon. It's too big to like pick up with like a garbage bag or like a Walmart bag. So we make the right decision and call the city pest control. And they took 2 days, but they did end up coming and picking up the dead raccoon and cleaning the floor of our shed, which was so, so nice. I'm so glad that they did. But I cannot believe that the one time I open up the shed, I find a dead raccoon. I mean, what are the chances of that? So I'm terrified of opening it again. I have not opened it since. My compost bin is doing fine, I think. I haven't put a ton of food scraps into it because I'm afraid of like another raccoon or like a rat or something finding the compost bins. I don't want them to be around. I don't want them to come. So maybe as time will go on, I will be more open to putting more like vegetable scraps in there. But for now, I just have a ton of dead leaves in there from my backyard, not from my neighbor's yard. And I will not be bothering my neighbors again. However, if they want to compliment me in my skirt, they're welcome to. I think the skirt turned out so pretty. I think it turned out so cute. It's easy, it's simple, it's breezy. Is it cut on the bias? No, but it's my skirt, and I don't care. It fit the vision, it fit the bill, and that's all that matters. I think it was the project that I needed at the time, and clearly other things were going on, and so I needed something simple to take my mind off things, and that's what happened. So I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys and having a little glass of wine and being outside, even though the cicadas were quite loud. But I will join you on the next one, and I hope to see everyone soon.